So we're gonna have a weird conversation to start with because I had to have a really strange conversation and it led to another strange conversation, and you're just gonna have to get that strange conversation. As many have been made aware, the regular viewers on the fantastic Big Ugly Jim TV show that we're in right now. My eldest child is a trans person and has been having trouble finding reasonable medical care. So I had put a thread up on Facebook and was like, "Hey, I have a lot of people I know that are trans people, or similar sorts of scenarios. Does anyone know of a decent OBGYN and medical doctor? Because my kiddo is having trouble getting appropriate referrals, and the doctors are so fun. As a dude, I never experienced this because doctors, I went to get a vasectomy and the doctor's like, "Cool, buddy, you want to get two?" A woman wants to get a tubal, and they're like, "What about potential future spouses? Do you own your vagina?" Got a bunch of really fantastic responses from people who are sort of in the know on these sorts of topics for the Calgary area, which was super helpful. And then last night, I was over at a friend's house, and my phone rings. No one ever calls me. That's weird. And I'm like, okay. And I look, and it's like a Facebook Messenger call. And I'm like, okay. And it's from a friend of mine who I haven't talked to too terribly much. We're not like super tight homies or anything, but we're friends. I got nothing bad to say. And so I'm like, hello. And then they insisted on video calling, and then I realized how drunk they were. And they wanted to have a conversation about trans peoples and how they just didn't understand. And very quickly, I recognized that this is a drunk person having a drunk conversation. This is not going to go well. Also, I'm at a friend's house. I'm actually planning on having a conversation with said person just to sort of, give them some of the information that I have, and hopefully not bop them in the ears for being a jerk. But who knows? At the end of the day, I don't feel that this is a person with a bad heart. I just feel that this is a person who hasn't been terribly exposed to the wild world of of the gender bimodal spectrum, as opposed to the bipolar idea that we were all raised with. So maybe I can help. Who knows? Anyways, the big thing is, this got me thinking about when I was a wee small Jim, still ugly, but I was little. And I had a conversation with my eldest son about this today, and we were talking about when I had the bitch tits. It's true, I did. Some might say I still do, but that's actually just because I'm fat. I'm not like super fat, but I'm fat. Facts are facts. Once upon a time, though, I was redonkulously skinny. Like when I graduated college, I was the same height I am, 6'2", and 130 pounds. That's pretty fucking skinny. So as of about 14, I started to develop gynecomastia, which is colloquially referred to as bitch tits. It was not because of my intense steroid use, because I was not on any steroids. I wasn't doing anything. I just one of the people who genetically got it. And my doctor would be like, "Don't worry, guy. It's part of a puberty process, and for most people, it'll go away in about a year." And then a year later, I'd go see the doctor and be like, "Don't worry, guy. It's part of the normal puberty process, but like about a year, it'll go away." And that went on until I was like in my early 20s. And I was like, dude, it's not fucking going away. It's not. So can we do something? And the thing about gynecomastia is it's actual breast tissue. It's not fat. It's like actual booby tissue. Which it turns out when you are someone who is born in a male body and identifies as a male, that's kind of hard on the brain. Like kind of a bunch hard on the brain. And also becomes the source of shame and You know, your good friends will do things like, "Hey, why do you got tits?" And you're like, "Hey, because it's actually not very fun, not very nice." And so, you know, in my early 20s, I had surgery, and I had what is essentially a breast reduction surgery, but a complete breast reduction. And so now it's just, you know, if you see me looking all boobyish, it's because I'm fat. But this kind of stuff helps make me get the whole concept of transness. Obviously, hugely tiny in comparison. But, you know, how did I know I was a man? Well, I've always known I was a man. That's never been a thing that has been something that I felt the need to question. I've just always felt cool in my skin. And my assumption is that people who are trans, or non-binary, or, you know, whatever, don't have that experience. They don't have that feeling of having always felt comfortable in their skin as the gender they were assigned. So if it's real for me to have always felt this way, then I think it's real for them to have always felt this way, or to have sometimes felt this way. And so it's a fairly easy thing for me to go, oh, okay, I can imagine how that would go. And then thinking about this condition where, you know, skinny little me would wear super baggy clothes and overshirts and things just to make sure that no one could see the fact that I had little perky nipples that were very obvious, but not like, you know, huge boobies or something like that. But I totally get why people would, you know, it wasn't normal. People would look at it and be like, tee hee, giggle, giggle. And it sucked. And it made me feel like less of a man. And it made me embarrassed. And it made me feel like my body wasn't right. So, yeah. Imagine if instead of it being like a couple of tiny little bulgy things that can be surgically removed, if it was like your whole body. I fucking get it in the sense of like I can extrapolate from my own very minimalistic version of that to like the whole bigger picture and be like, well, shit, that's fucking awful. When I went in for the surgery, one of the questions they asked me was if I had done steroids, and I was again around 130 pounds, and I was like, "Do I fucking look like a dude who does steroids?" And we all laughed, and the doctor was like, "No, no, you don't." But yeah, that was a thing. So I just thought it was an interesting way that honestly I had never really considered, but has always sort of factored into my understanding of transness. Now that doesn't mean that I've always had a good solid understanding of what it would mean to be trans. I guarantee you I could go into where I originally came to, you know, what conclusions I originally came to, and they were dead ass wrong and stupid. But, you know, here we all are years later, and I've learned a thing or two, and I'm good with that. And my own experiences help sort of inform that opinion. First off, I want to say thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It really does help me out. Thank you to my patrons that support me on Patreon. I am a little streamer, and these people are all really awesome for supporting me. I try to put up stuff at least once a week, and I live stream every Saturday at noon Mountain Time on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, like an old man. Again, thanks for watching, and have a kick-ass day.